Hello everybody, welcome to another Moto and Dev video. Today we're going to be breaking down this past weekend's race at Seattle. Obviously a lot happened and a lot happened early, so maybe surprising things, maybe a few things that need to be talked about in the heats. But for the most part, we're kind of be skipping over the heats, kind of just highlighting a few things from, the three heats, or there's four heats, but three heats had some I have noted in this little episode here. So that'll be interesting to see, how we can break this stuff down. I'm really tired. Have been working on a lot of sleep, so looking a little bit rough, feeling a little bit rough. Let's just get into the video. First things first, we'll talk about the heat incidents between McAdoo and Jet. They're racing really hard and having nice battles. It wasn't quite exactly aggressive racing, but Jet definitely seemed eager to get past him and wasn't going to hold back much. McAdoo was really good for a while, just defensively going back and forth at one point. I think Jet even made it past Cam. I don't know if Jet made another mistake. I can't quite remember, but Cam got back around. And then, obviously, they were kind of riding really well. McAdoo, especially really good defensively, holding off Jet. And then Cam went to go on off from the outside of that, like, the long rhythm lane right after that whole shot start area. And Cam went outside to go on off. Jet passes from underneath. And then Cam cuts to Jet's left, goes up, tries to get the line. And then they ended up colliding. And so it was all right. In the press conference, they talked about it. Their line just collided, and Jet actually faded a little bit more left than Cam thought. And Cam thought he had enough room, but Jet said initially that he thought Cam was on his right, but ended up cutting down and going to Jet's left. So in that press conference, it was quite funny because they actually had a discussion about it. They were all cool. There were smiles about it. And so it wasn't a really big deal at the end of the day. They're good friends or good people, I guess. They're not really, I don't know if you're allowed to really be friends, but in a situation like that, it's good to see it resolved. Like it probably should have gone. I think Jet's a really easygoing person. I think that they both understand the situation. I think that they both understood the circumstances. They're both adult and grown up about it. And that is not a shot towards Deegan. I don't care what you commenters say down below. I'm just saying, I would say this regardless of what happened. I just know you guys are super, quick to say I hate Deegan, so not the case scenario. Let's move on. Ended up finishing second and fourth with a Levi Kitchen win, so that was really cool to see as a Levi win. But Jet finishing in second, and then Styles Robertson in third, and then it ended up being Cameron McAdoo in fourth. And there's a little incident here with in 450 Heat 1. I'm just kidding. There was no incident. There was just really good riding all around. Craig with the surprising win. Haven't seen that from him for a while. And he did look really good. In the beginning, he did look like there was a little bit of nerves going around for sure. And then ended up, just able to pull out about 2.5 seconds maybe, and then was able to maintain that despite Aaron Plessinger, getting on the throttle a little bit late there and had a few laps that caught him right up to Craig, and then it ended up being quite close at the end, but Craig was able to hold off and get that heat race win. Barsha had also an impressive ride. He went from 11th to 4th in 2 minutes. It was really impressive to see how he kind of navigated the field. You didn't really see him make too many passes. You kind of just watched the timing scoring board on the left side of your screen, or on the left side of the screen, and ended up just moving it across. And then heat number 2, Cooper Webb brought out the finger guns. He didn't really have too much of a comment on it. He said that he was just stoked to beat Chase in a heat race. He says not a lot of people have the opportunity to do that. Chase is normally really good in those heat races. He was happy that he could win that. He's happy that he could stay out front. Regardless of where Sexton was to where he finished, it was a solid ride from both guys. But the finger guns, he's trying to start playing those mental games when it gets close in a championship, but I'm not sure if Sexton's the right guy you want to start playing with. I think you probably should start messing with Eli. 250 main begins. It was a really good start for some guys. I think that it was, a really bad start for a few guys as well, but some guys that got out early, Styles and I think Hunter Yoder. So Styles got into the lead early. Jet, aggressive towards McAdoo really early. I think we saw that pretty clearly. He went to try to go to the inside of those whoops. I'm not sure if they had broken down the film or anything before then, but Jet definitely wanted to get past McAdoo for the time being, and made a really good pass as well. So I I think Jet wasn't really overly aggressive. I think that he was just trying to put his competitors behind him, and that's what you got to do when you are leading in the points, when you are just trying to advance forward and onward. I don't think you can afford to just be stuck behind a guy of McAdoo's caliber, especially with how well he was riding defensively in that heat race. So it ended up being Styles and Jet 1 and 2. Styles wasn't exactly holding up Jet. He definitely wasn't pushing the pace, but Styles wasn't holding him up. He was just riding really well out front. I really liked what I saw from Styles in the time that he led. There was a few things that he probably could have picked up on, and he didn't really stay real low. He looked pretty comfortable though, and it's nice to see him start to get these starts down in both the heat and this main event, because that's what he did so well on the Rockstar Husqvarna. When he had the chance to get a start, he'd always start out like towards the front. So I was really curious how it would translate on a Star Yamaha, and it looks like he's trying to, or starting to finally figure it out over there. And hopefully the shoulder isn't too severe. Hopefully it's only a dislocated thing, but we'll hop into that in just a minute here. But right here, I think that we just have to highlight Styles was riding really well, and leave that there. McAdoo was trying to close in on Jet and Styles. He was in third, kind of just trying to inch closer and closer with Styles. Like I said, not exactly holding up Jet, but he definitely wasn't pushing the pace. But Jet ended up pushing, trying to get past Styles. You can tell he was getting a little eager. You might have felt McAdoo kind of closing up and whatnot, but it all ended up being McAdoo and RJ end up closing on Styles and Jet. All been 1, 2, 3, funneling into the whoops. Jet ends up getting past Styles. Styles ends up crashing in the whoops. It looked like a shoulder-ish injury, and it was a major crash. It is incredible to see like these guys go out there week after week and have no fear, and then something like that and just that much time can just wipe them out. So it's unfortunate to see Styles. He's out of Bakersfield, California. Not close to me, but I know where it is. Been there. But besides the fact, he's been having a really good career when he's not injured. And sometimes you see these injuries kind of hold him back, and he's going to kind of have to restart. And it's really unfortunate because for him, it is just injury after injury. I don't think he ever gets off easy. It's not, oh, he can't dismount a bike. It's unfortunate situations that get him in unlucky injuries. So unfortunate to see. Like I said, it looked like a shoulder. RJ McAdoo, that would be interesting. RJ Hampshire passes McAdoo for second. We're still pretty early in the race here. After that Styles crash, Jet was actually able to kind of separate himself, and RJ made the pass. So Cam and him were kind of going back and forth. So RJ was 2.3 seconds back from Jet, and Cam was about 3.8. Not midway through the race, but you're pretty close to mid right here. You're probably 5-6 minutes in now, which isn't close to to half of it. It doesn't seem as close to half of it. Whatever. Pierce Brown had another bad one. Horrible start. I think he clipped Mumford. He talked about it. I think he got involved and mixed up in Mumford's handlebars early. I think he was dead last, if I'm not mistaken, and he got up to ninth place about, I think there's 8 minutes left or 8 minutes in. I couldn't tell you which one, but it's only a minute difference each. But RJ was catching, and you can kind of tell that he was hitting his stride for sure. And then he just ended up cross-running, making a little mistake, and then McAdoo was able to close in. He wasn't right there, but he was getting kind of closer, you can tell. Quietly, Max Volan had a really good ride, was able to pass the Heat 1, Heat 2 maybe? I think it was, the Heat 2, 250 Heat 2 race winner, Levi Kitchen for 5th. I think they were quietly battling for that about midway through the main event there, and it was really nice to see Max Volan get to that 5th place spot. I think he really does need a reset, and I am so excited to see what he can do in this outdoor season. He showed potential last year, and hopefully some confidence. Maybe if he can finish off the Supercross championship, nice. He might be able to put some stuff together, carry that on in to outdoors. But McAdoo passes RJ after RJ ended up missing a rhythm. I think he singled into that section after the straightaway after the finish line. So it was unfortunate, just a bad mistake from RJ. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but ended up just missing the rhythm. McAdoo passed. Jet still within 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds or so, with about 3 minutes left. And then there was just a pack of lappers. I don't know what was up with that. I mean, you guys are seeing it right now. A huge amount of lappers. I was really stunned when I saw that when they kind of zoomed out on the camera. I mean, I had no idea what was going on right there, but it is what it is. RJ stays right there with McAdoo, then makes a pass with about 1 to go. He thought that that was the final corner on the last lap. So he thought that it was now or never. And so it was a little bit more aggressive than he should have been. And that is what he said. And I still think it was a great pass. So I'm slowly earning, respect for RJ Hampshire. Obviously, I respect what he's doing. He's a family man, a really good guy. It seems like I've only met him once or twice, and he seemed pretty nice. But like I've never really talked to him. So it is what it is. Jet just sailing out to the win. Ended up finishing Jet first. RJ, McAdoo, Lopes, Volan, Kitchen, Pierce, and Mumford. Solid ride for Mumford. If I knew he was racing, I would have done a whole video on him. Stoked for the kid. Former Geico Honda rider. He's 21 years of age. I think he's out of Utah or something like that. Really fun story. Love to see him get a chance, and really solid heat race from him too, by the way, getting second in that first one. Anywho, a lot of stuff happened after the race. Jet was mad with himself. He said that in the press conference after being asked about like the kind of him doing this after the race, and he said kind of like doing a little film study or something like that. He said kind of analyzing how the race went in his head, kind of doing a little review to himself. And so he was mad with the lines he was taking. He admitted he never really got along with the track, never really found his flow, never could really just click off the laps. And then the RJ miscommunication with his the board. So he got his mechanic put out the board. You know how they do that every lap. They put out the board and they say how much you have left. Apparently it said 2 laps left when they had 3. And so that's kind of what led to the aggressive move on Cameron McAdoo for what he thought was going to be second in that final corner. And then Jet, figuring out about the Triple Crown on the podium. That was really funny as well.
Gonna go back home, hit some golf balls, and then on to Arizona we go.
Which is a Triple Crown.
Oof.
We'll see you in Glendale, Jet.
I love Daniel Blair's connection with these riders. It's really fun to see him kind of bring out their personalities as well. They're definitely a lot more comfortable and not as professional with him. There's still a degree of, getting the job done professional-wise, but I'm talking, you get to see them more as people, and especially Jet out of all these guys. But also do want to flow back to what I've said here. In Seattle, or in a video recently, I said in Seattle, I gave a bunch of predictions, right? So I gave my Seattle predictions, and 2 of them. Enzo Lopes finished top spot. Enzo Lopes finishes top 5. He got 4th. All right, from 17th to 4th. Incredible night for Enzo Lopes. I'm right, you're wrong. And then Volan to finish 5th in the 250 main was a direct quote from that video. And Volan got exactly 5th place. And if you go back to that video, you can hear me say, I think Max Volan gets 5th on the dot. And he got 5th on the dot. So really good predictions by yours truly. I should do an episode like that every weekend. And I also had a few others in the 450 man, which we'll hop right into in just a minute here. But it was just really funny because that's something I could also, bring into this is maybe predicting the pros. That's a segment I've been thinking about. And to start the 450 main event, it was a good start from Moran's, all things considered. I think that's a $5,000 bonus for that whole shot. He also whole shotted the heat race. And he said after the race, he's on a completely stock KTM. I think it's 450. And against all these factory guys, he said the goal is at the end of the day to at one point get onto a factory team. He said, well, I got to show him I have the starts. And he definitely has got the starts down. Whole shotting a heat and a main in the night show is very impressive. Sexton, Tomac, and Roxon also had very solid, starts. Roxon passed Tomac, Sexton passed Moran's, putting Tomac and Sexton 1 and 2. Good racing from Tomac. Roxon passed Tomac and the old HRC Honda teammates 1 and 2. Sexton, Ken Roxon, Kevin Moran's, Eli Tomac. I'm guessing Eli Tomac. Oh, no. Moran's ended up going down. Everyone passed him. He was like dead last. So unfortunate for him, but he was really stoked on the night. I think that's just because of the money. I'm not going to lie. He had a very fun interview from Racer X and Kellen Brower after the race. So really nice to see that. But good racing from Tomac and Roxon. Those two definitely have the veteran savviness. All right. I mean, I was watching these guys and I was like, I haven't seen racing like this in a while. Normally it's a young guy and an old guy, or two young guys that are kind of just out there to advance positions, but Roxon was there to play defense, and that is very rarely seen. Tomac was not impatient, but you can tell he was definitely taking shots at Roxon. He was looking for every opportunity he could on this very tough to pass track here. And it was just really fun racing from both of them. AC and Webb caught Eli off guard. Eli was going to, I think he faded so far outside, I don't know if it was a mistake or not. Ends up getting passed by both of them in the course of that section. Adam Cianciarulo immediately, and then Webb made, whatever. But Eli was right behind Webb, gunning through the whoops. They were both doing different things. Tomac obviously had his thing in the whoops where he was cutting back, I think, towards the left side. He was blitzing while a lot of guys were going inside and jumping. So it was really interesting to see how that was going to break down. And then, Webb made a very, very good move, I thought, and drifted left right in front of where he knew Eli was. I think he was watching him maybe a lap or two prior. Or he just tried to get himself in a good spot to block the inside and try to make a pass and a go at Adam Cianciarulo there. I'm not quite sure what the deal was, but Webb ended up making a mistake, and Eli passes for fourth. So Sexton out front, separating, makes a mistake, and then makes a gap again. So it was really funny. It was about 2.5, 3 seconds out, and he made a really bad mistake, ended up missing a rhythm. Roxon ends up right on his back tail. In a course of half a lap, Sexton was 1.8 or 9 seconds out again. I don't know how he does it. He's such a phenomenal rider. Can't wait to see when he puts it together, which he will. He will win at least 2 more races by the end of the season. Another prediction from me, by the way. So, yeah, it was just really fun to watch. And we actually had Chase Sexton, Ken Roxon, Eli Tomac, Adam Cianciarulo, and Webb top 5 with about 15 minutes to go. So 5 minutes in, we were looking really solid out there, especially with Adam Cianciarulo in fourth. That was one to watch. Roxon and Eli find each other again to battle for second. So Eli was flying it through the whoops, made the pass on Roxon. Roxon fights back, then makes a pass, and then made a mistake. So, it was really fun to watch. Those two, like I said, savvy veterans go at it again. I mean, we see this not every week now, to the point where it is refreshing to kind of see this old style of racing come back alive, where these guys are jumping from right to left to guard the inside, while the other guy does the complete opposite, and they still guard it correctly. So it's really nice to see these guys, go at it. Two old timers for fun and for the fans. I think that it was a really nice, little look at things there. But Eli Tomac was flying through the whoops. Then, like I said, Roxon fought back after a little mistake as well from Eli Tomac. I don't know if Roxon would have had the position anyways, but that bike was definitely hooking up for him. I think the Suzuki's really starting to kick in for Roxon in these early laps. Hopefully he stops to fade a little bit, as it did happen to him in this race, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Makes a pass, then made the mistake. I think, Eli ended up getting past him. So Eli for second, leaving Chase and Eli 1 and 2. Sexton just clicking off laps out front. He looked really good, just effortless. And then Eli was just trying to catch right behind him. He was in second, just trying to reel him in. And all this while the third championship contender, Webb, was fighting for fourth. Webb to the back end of Roxon after a pass on AP or AC for fourth on not Aaron. That would be Adam Cianciarulo. I do that. In these notes here, I have AC written down. I'm not going to start writing Adam Cianciarulo every time, because I'm not going to lie, I don't have the time for that. I'm just kidding. Barsha surging to catch the top 4 guys. I mean, his speed looked incredible. I think this is the best we've ever seen. Barsha, I mean, the way that he can effortlessly move through packs with speed, with savvy. I mean, he's got the experience, he's got the speed now, and he's definitely got the bike working how he wants the bike to work. So he's definitely putting himself to work for, I think, his son. I mean, it's added a whole new element to his game, and maybe he needs to have more kids, because as he gets older, he might start losing a little bit of that speed, but he needs to start pumping those things out. I mean, if he's riding this well with 1 kid, imagine what he'd do with 2 or 3. The guy is amazing right now. I'm starting to kind of root for him again. This is kind of a cycle of Bam Bam, right? Where you don't like the guy because of a stupid pass he makes. You start liking the guy because of how well spoken he is, and then he has a good ride. You're like, okay, right? Oh, all right. And then another good ride. It's like, okay. Then he shows off a little, and you see his whips again, and you're like, okay, this guy can toss a bike. And then you start to like him after another 5 or 6 rounds, and I'm just waiting for the bad pass again, but came up from not far down there, I don't think, but he was not in the conversation until just surged to the top 4 guys. He was on a mission. I think he was like one of the fastest guys on the track. So at one point in this race, so really fun to watch him kind of grow as the season goes on. Talk about growing and whatnot. Maybe Chase can grow out of these mistakes. Chase goes down all the way back to 4th. He looked pissed right away. You see him trusting the bike quite a bit, ends up finding some loose dirt, front digs into some sort of bump. I don't know if it was like a cross rut where a rut is right here and then there's a rut going past, creating kind of a knob and then shooting his front over. I'm not quite sure what that was. I think it was just 2 lines bridging off, and he ended up getting the sore side of that after hitting some loose dirt. Despite like that initial mistake, it wasn't going to be as bad, and then for the bike to flip over might have added some additional damage to the bike. I think Ricky mentioned later in the race that his clutch lever looked a little bit bent, ended up flying over the kind of sideways. He ended up flying, kind of barrel rolling, and as soon as he landed and was fine, kind of hit the ground, got back up, saddled back onto the bike. He looked pissed, I tell you. Putting Eli Tomac and Cooper Webb 1 and 2 now, and this is kind of where the animosity started to build. Chase in the middle of Kenny and Bam Bam at one point. Chase was in the middle of both of them, making it really difficult for himself to really get past the savvy veteran in Kenny. And then he had the rocket behind him in Barsha. I mean, he really didn't have anywhere to really go. Coop was just trying to gain on Tomac with about 9 minutes to go. Webb looked incredible in the sand, the way that he was carrying the speed and momentum. Something I do want to hit on. He was taking different lines all night than most of the guys. Not really, though. I mean, it was really a straightforward night for him, but he was hitting them differently with minor things that just was different. Were they necessarily faster? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't have the segment by segment, double by double. But the way that he was hitting the sand to me, it looked effortless, which is what I love, first of all. But how much speed and momentum he was carrying through was incredible. And I can't wait to see how he can look at this outdoor season, because if he looks that good in sand and in rough conditions, he might actually have a chance at a top 3 this outdoor season to maybe contend with Chase Sexton and Eli Tomac bearing these crashes. Hopefully that's not too big of an issue outdoors, where he can kind of maybe get a reset. Outdoors is going to be so fun. I cannot wait. I can't stop talking enough about it. But Webb looked incredible. Barsha ends up passing Sexton for Kenny for 3rd. So he gets past Sexton and Kenny before anyone even realized it. So it was what it is. Barsha was crazy fast in the middle of this race. I mean, we saw unbelievable speed. I think he was the fastest guy on the lap, or fastest guy on the track for maybe 2 laps or so. I'm really liking these camera settings, by the way. I kind of tilt my camera like this a little bit, and it kind of straightened things out. I don't know. You guys tell me how you feel, but I really like these new camera settings that I got going on. Barsha looked crazy fast, and it ended up being Barsha, Sexton, Kenny, Anderson, all charging 3rd to 6th in the course of, they're probably all within 2 seconds of each other. It was crazy. It was like a little mini train that was kind of just all catching pace. So they're all in different places in speed. Barsha was probably the fastest. Jason Anderson was really fast. I don't know if Chase Sexton has any bike issues, but he's probably the fastest out of them all. But after that crash, wasn't quite the same. I think he knows he's pretty much well solidified in that 3rd spot in the championship. Not hoping for injuries, anything like that, just right now. So he kind of took a little step back. Anderson was able to get past Kenny, whatever it was, for 5th. All this going on while Coop is closing within 2 seconds of Eli Tomac for the lead. And, it was cool to watch Coop actually be able to pick up a little bit of speed on Tomac. A little bit of time there as well. Last week's almost winner, Aaron Plessinger, quietly in 7th. Not the greatest start, not the greatest go at it. Unfortunately, could not put the night together. I was predicting a Seattle win for the young lad, Aaron Plessinger. That was kind of my far out one because I really didn't think it was going to happen, but I definitely thought it would be cool. So I was like, I'm just going to throw it in there, and it'll be kind of a bizarre one. But 3 minutes to go, you had Eli Tomac, Chase Sexton, Justin Barcia capping off your podium with Anderson in fourth, Sexton in fifth, and Kenny in sixth. Yes, Anderson passed Chase for fourth. It's not great looking for Chase. I don't like I said I don't know if it was a bike issue or if he kind of just settled down. Let Jason go. Go chase after Barcia. Go chase your bone. Go fetch that thing. And Coop ended up backing off. Tomac was too good. Webb had too many mistakes. Like I said, he kind of closed within 2 seconds. Boom, mistake, just like that, 2.5 seconds down. Boom, Tomac puts one of his best laps late in that race together, gains a whole nother second. He's about 4 seconds down, settles down, lets it go, kind of backs off, whatever. Tomac's bike looked good. I mean, the way that he was able to be on it and how comfortable he looked after struggling in Indianapolis. Everyone thought, oh my God, he's going to be awesome in Indianapolis. Oh my God, he sucked in Indianapolis. It was because of his tweaked neck, not his bike. He was looking very comfortable and very good on that Yamaha. Once again, another guy I cannot wait for outdoors to see how he does in these trench of ruts. Maybe Ironman or Washougal gets really bad again. See how that kind of works out towards that Yamaha's favor, if it is even in the Yamaha's favor. See what bike Sexton's on. He's got an expiring contract. It'll be really fun. All right, after this Supercross season, the fun begins. Even though the fun's going on right now, the fun's about an 8 out of 10. Off season probably be a 9 out of 10, and motocross will probably be that 10 out of 10 that we're looking for. All fingers crossed. These guys are riding so good right now. We're gonna have Jet Lawrence moving up. It's gonna be awesome. Speaking of awesome stuff, Tomac ends up winning it. So it ended up being Tomac first, Cooper Webb second, Barcia third for the podium, and then finished in the same order that I listed earlier with Anderson in fourth, Sexton in fifth, Kenny in sixth, and then AP in seventh. Adam Cianciarulo kind of got knocked down to eighth, kind of got funneled back, and then the 28 of Christian Craig in that ninth place spot. Eli's on 50 wins now. What a historical mark. Ties my favorite rider ever, James Stewart. He was kind of my era as he was kind of exiting. I was kind of entering. What did I say in my Seattle predictions episode? I said Jason or Kenny will finish fourth in the main event. I said Jason Anderson or Kenny Roxon will finish fourth in the main event. Well, not to brag or anything, Kenny was in fourth for a little bit. And then Jason Anderson surged from back there all the way up to fourth, finished fourth in the main event. I am the prediction king. I hit like 50% of the crazy wild predictions I had. I think I had RJ missing the podium. I said that was another really wild one, just to get a little different, not make all these like really crazy ones. So I think I hit out 2 out of 3 in the 250s, and I think I hit 1 out of 3 in the 450s. So that'll be all for me. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate all of you guys so much. And that'll be all for me. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Like I already mentioned, I'll see you guys next time.